Our webinar today is the first of several webinar series that is planned by Planetiium with the title of Rethinking Our Food Security, Strategies for Affordability and Sustainability. This webinar is planned to explore innovative strategies for affordable and sustainable food systems, including innovations that transform livestock byproducts and strengthen collaboration for lasting impact. It could be an effective medium to disseminate relevant and important information in order to develop awareness and knowledge on the global issue of food security. First and foremost, I would like to explain the flow of our webinar today. Firstly, we will have an opening remarks by the Director of Planetiium, Professor Technologist Dr. Muhammad Luqman bin Muhammad Isa, to give his opening remarks. And then we will have a short photo session with all webinar members. And continuing with the presentation, we will have our first speaker, Professor Dr. Jajang Gumilar, will be presenting his topic on transforming livestock byproducts into value-added ingredients for 40 minutes before a 10-minute Q&A session. Next, Professor Muhammad bin Ibrahim will be presenting an important topic of securing our plate, sustaining our people. Also for 40 minutes before the 10-minute Q&A session. Finally, we will have a short conclusion session before wrapping up the webinar. If the audience has any question or comment at any moment of the webinar, you may write your question or comment in the chat box and we will tend to the question during the Q&A session. Also for your information, the attendance link I attend will be given later in the chat box during the webinar session, and the evaluation form link will be given at the end of the webinar. To IIUM members, your attendance will be recorded to I attend, whereas for the public audience, your attendance for e-certificate will be recorded to filling in the evaluation form given at the end of the webinar. May I know if the Prof. Luqman is already in the webinar? Can I get a confirmation from the technical team?
He's here. Prof?
Okay. So before we begin the presentation, I would like to welcome the Director of Planetiium, Professor Technologist Dr. Muhammad Luqman Maisa, to give his opening remarks. Please welcome, Prof.
Yes, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning. Can see me? Can hear me?
Yes, clear.
Okay, thank you very much. And very good morning to all the participants, to all the speakers, Dr. Jajang, Prof. Jajang and Prof. Muhammad, for giving a time for this webinar. Actually, this is like the continuous seminar that, online seminar, webinar that we are planning to have starting from last year until we're going to have a main conference by next year, inshallah. Okay, so first of all, I would like to introduce you about the Planetiium. Planetiium is the Institute for Planetary Survival for Sustainable Wellbeing. This November will be our 3rd anniversary. So we start with the involvement of the health in terms of from the public health, we go to the planetary health, which is we connected the human, animal, and environment together, because of a lot of catastrophe, a lot of disease, a lot of zoonotic disease that being involved, that being caused a lot of trouble, chaotic to our human to our human in daily life. So that's why we have to take care about the issue and problems of the planetary health that relate interconnected between human, animal, and environments. So this is like our responsible, each of us in this world. That's what we call it, planetary health. We are all responsible. We as a human responsible to tackle this issue and to find a solution for this issue. Next. So we have four research pillars, which is in our institute, we have four research pillars, which is um, food security, health empowerment, biodiversity and conservation, and health and also the health empowerments. Yeah. So these four elements, we will choose one by one in this webinar. So we will start with the food security topics for this webinar, and soon, another 2 months, we're going to have another topics, and we will end up with 4 topics covered. Okay, so next. Okay, in our Planetium, we are focusing on frugal innovation that we try to ensure that everybody in the community, in the um, in the community can use our initiative, our technology, which is available, affordable, accessible, and acceptable. This element is important because we want to ensure that all the community, including marginalized community, can get benefit from the innovation or solution that we can get. Next. Next. Okay, I think this is the last slide for me. Related to the planetary health itself, um, we are like interconnected, like to find the sustainable well-being, we have to work together, no more in silence. We have to do like interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary to gain some solutions. So we have to work with the university, with the industry, government, community in order to make sure that our planet survive and we can inherit our planet to the future. So the shared vision here is the value-based talent development and providing sustainable solution, nature-centric and people-centric for community and industry in order to attain sustainable health. And the last one is about the frozen zoo in Planetiums. Next, in Planetium we have one center or one unit which we call it frozen zoo. This is the first established in Southeast Asia that we collecting the cell line from the wildlife animal, especially that have been extinct or nearly extinct. We want to go into the molecular and cellular technology to clone it, to provide the gamete, the embryo from this cell line, the somatic cell, and then perhaps we can solve a bit of the conservation biodiversity problems in the future. So I think I don't want to go further in this. Maybe you can go, if you want to know more about the planetary health, you can about the Planetium, you can go to our websites and then we can work together, we can collaborate together. So by then, enjoy this webinar. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to you, Syed.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Lokman, for your welcoming speech and also introduction to Planetium. Now we will have a short photo session with all webinar members. To all attendees, please turn on your camera if possible and show your best sweetest smile to the camera. The technical team will assist in capturing the photo. Don't be shy and please open your camera. Okay, technical team. Are you ready? Okay. Who's going to take the okay.
Okay, dah.
Okay, thank you. So to start with the first presentation, please let me introduce our first speaker briefly. Professor Dr. Insinyur Jajang Gumilar is a professor and head of Department of Animal Products Technology at the Faculty of Animal Husbandry, Universitas Padjadjaran, Indonesia. He holds a PhD in animal science from Universitas Gadjah Mada and has expertise in livestock byproduct utilization, smart packaging, and functional food innovation. Over the last 5 years, he has led nationally funded research on smart edible films from rabbit skin gelatin and antihypertensive peptides from duck egg white protein. He has published extensively in international journals such as the World Rabbit Science, Asian Journal of Dairy and Food Research, Pakistan Journal of Biological Sciences, and Journal of Pure and Applied Microbiology. Prof. Gumilar is a certified halal auditor and national trainer and serves as a board expert member of the Indonesian Association of Animal Science Professionals. In recognition of his dedication, he received the Satya Lancana Karya Satya 20 Years Medal from the President of Indonesia in 2023. Without further ado, please welcome Prof. Jajang Gumilar to present the topic Transforming Livestock Byproducts into Value-Added Ingredients, a strategic approach to support food affordability. Professor, the floor is yours.
Okay, check. Is my voice on? Can you hear me? Check.
Can.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. At the first, I would like to say thank you to the webinar committee and MC for giving me the opportunity to speak at the webinar series at the International Islamic University, Malaysia. Okay, please allow me to present my paper, and I will share my presentation, but I cannot send my presentation. Can I sharing my presentation?
Technical
Mr.
team,
Shir,
can you help?
I cannot send my presentation.
Prof, can you try again?
Okay. Oh, okay, I can. Okay. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, Prof.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, Permanent. It's a pleasure to have you here today discuss a topic that sits at the critical intersection of research efficiency, innovation, and global food security. As you can see from our title slide here, our focus today is on transforming livestock by product into value-added ingredients. This is a strategic approach to support food affordability. Okay, as you can see, that is strategic approach to food affordability. This presentation will delve into how we can shift our paradigm from waste management to research optimization. The concept of transforming livestock products into value-added ingredients extend far beyond traditional rendering. We are talking about sophisticated processing techniques, cutting-edge biotechnology, and innovative extraction methods to recover high-quality protein, specialty fats, essential mineral, collagen, and other functional compounds. This can then be repurposed for human consumption in novel food products, performance nutrition, pharmaceuticals, and even industrial application. Our discussion today will emphasize the strategic approach, highlighting the necessity of integrated research and development, multi-stakeholder collaboration across the agriculture, scientific, and industrial sectors, and adoption of circular economic principle to maximize every component of the animal product. Here the challenge a global imperative. We begin by confronting the first monumental hazard in our global challenge. The issue global food security is a fundamental human right, yet for millions worldwide, it remains elusive dream. Consider this. Over 828 million people currently face chronic undernutrition, a figure that has tragically risen in recent years due to conflict, pandemic, economic shock, and climate change. This isn't merely about having enough food. It's about equitable access to nutritious food. Consistently and sustainably, when we talk about food security, we are addressing the immediate crisis of hunger, but also the long-term impact of malnutrition on children development, educational attainment, and national economic prosperity. Okay, moving from the challenge not enough, we now pivot to the equal pressing problem of waste and efficiency. This isn't just an inconvenience or byproduct of modern life. It's a systemic failure that squanders precious resources, creates environmental burden, and represents a profound ethical dilemma. Consider that astonishing fact that approximately 1/3 of all food products globally for human consumption is lost or waste. That's 1.3 billion tons of food annually, even as a million go hungry. This waste occurs at every stage, from post-harvest losses due to inadequate infrastructure storage in developing nations, to retail and customer waste and affluent societies driven by overproduction and throwaway culture. Finally, underpinning both food insecurity and systematic waste in the overseeing crisis on environmental impact. This is essential background against which all other challenges unfold, threatening the very life support system of our planet. Designed under undeniable and escalating rapid warming climate leading to more frequent and intense extreme weather events, drought, flood, and wildfire that directly decimate agricultural yield and displace communities. We are witnessing unprecedented biodiversity loss with species disappearing at an alarming rate, fundamentally destabilizing the ecosystem and provide us with a clean air, water, and fertile soil. Essential sources that we often take for granted but are critical for human survival and prosperity. And here for the food price, we can see on this slide trend of global food price as measured by the FAO Global Food Price Index. Food price were relatively stable on 2018 and 2020, and then we saw here we saw here it directly go up. The peak came in March 2022 when the index reached 160.2, the highest point recorded in the recent history. The sudden spike was closely related to the Russian-Ukraine conflict, which disrupted grain and fertilizer exports. Since both countries are major suppliers of wheat, corn, and sunflower oil, the war creates uncertainty and price volatility global market. And here we can see another slide. Now, what we can see from this graph, the first highlights the vulnerability of the global food system to external shocks, whether geopolitical or climate. And second, higher food prices have direct impact on nutrition and food access, especially for low-income households that spend a large share of their income on food. The third one, this emphasizes the urgent need to resilient and sustainable food system, diversifying food source, improving supply chain efficiency, and making better use of agriculture byproducts are among the strategies that can help mitigate these challenges. In conclusion, while food prices have slightly risen from the 2022 peak, the current level shows that affordability and accessibility remain pressing issues. This context underscores why innovative solutions such as valorizing livestock byproducts into affordable food and packaging are so important for future food security. Define the byproduct and untapped research. When we talk about byproducts, it's crucial to begin by clarifying what they are, and perhaps more importantly, what they are not. We are not simply talking about general waste, refuse, or trash. A byproduct is a secondary material generated consistently during a primary product process, often alongside the main product. For example, skin, oval, bones, render fat, and blood from meat production, and also whey from cheese production. And we can hear the paradigm shift, moving from the viewing of these waste to recognizing them as a source of valuable ingredients. This revolution necessitates nothing less than a fundamental paradigm shift in how we conceive of and interact with this material. For decades, our global economy has operated on a predominantly linear take, make, and dispose models, where resources are extracted, products are manufactured and consumed, and then ultimately discarded. In these traditional models, byproducts were simply the ineffective detritus of production, and externality to be managed often out of sight of our mind. However, the world is changing rapidly, driven by powerful economic, environmental, and regulatory forces. We face unprecedented pressures from rising raw material costs, the escalating expenses of waste disposal, growing environmental concerns like resource depletion and climate change, and increasingly stringent regulation that mandate greater resource efficiency and circularity. The powerful drivers compelling industry across the board to transition toward a more circular economic model. This is precisely where the paradigm shift truly takes hold. Instead of viewing byproducts as the end of process, we now see them as the potential beginning, an input for another process, another industry, or even a new product line entirely. This isn't just about corporate social responsibility. It's increasingly about economic survival, competitive advantage, and future-proofing your business. Companies that can extract value from their byproducts, transforming a cost center into profit center, will be leaders of tomorrow's sustainable economy. It profoundly shifts from asking, how do we get rid of this, to what innovative new product or process can we create from this, fundamentally altering our approach to resource management. We can hear the composition, rich in protein, collagen, gelatin, fats, mineral, and other bioactive compounds. To truly unlock the potential of any byproduct, we must move beyond its generic levels into the fundamental composition. Understanding what a byproduct is made of is the absolute cornerstone of its valorization. This isn't just a scientific curiosity, it's a strategic imperative. Is it rich in protein, fiber, carbohydrates, and specific minerals? Does it contain valuable bioactive compounds like antioxidants or polyphenols that could have application in pharmaceutical or cosmetics? What are its critical physical properties? Particle size, moisturized content, pH density, and thermal stability. There are no trivial questions. The answer dictates the potential pathway for its use and transformation into higher value product. For instance, a byproduct high in protein may be ideal for animal feed or human nutraceutical, while one rich in a gelatin could be transformed into bioplastic or sustainable packaging material. And here the yield and market value of byproduct ingredient. In this slide present comparison of the yield and market value for several byproduct ingredients, including our focus, edible film. Here is edible film, and the blue bars represent the yield in kilograms per ton and raw material, and the orange bars represent market value in dollars. Let's start with the traditional product. We can see here the gelatin. Gelatin has a very high yield and producing over 110 kilograms per ton of raw materials with a market value of about $12 per kilogram. Collagen also. So a high yield and slightly higher market value than gelatin. And the blood meal? Blood meal, while having decent yield, has a very low market value. And the protein hydrolysis, so a lower yield but a significantly higher market value. And let's take a look here, edible film. Edible film on the far right, while the yield is the lowest among all the ingredients sold, just over 40 kilograms per ton. But the market value is highest, exceeding $20 per kilogram. This data is crucial because it highlights the economic value of our research. Despite a lower yield, the high market value of edible films make their production a high profitable and worthwhile endeavor. This shows that transforming this byproduct into high-level product like edible film is not only sustainable but also smart business decision. Here the sign of transformation. We are going to embark on a fascinating journey into what I call the science of transformation. This isn't about personal growth or social things, so those are equally vital. Instead, we will delve into the intricate process by which raw material often considered waste or low inherent value are scientifically transformed into high value products that underpin countless industries, from food and pharmaceutical to energy and materials. It's about unlocking hidden potential and creating new possibilities through intelligent design and sophisticated engineering. Rendering. Here is a core process that separates fat, protein, and water from animal tissue. Rendering is an industrial process that converts animal byproduct materials that would otherwise be waste into a stable, usable product like fat, like a tallow or lard, and protein meals like meat and bone meal, feather meal. At its core, rendering involves heat treatment, often through cooking, to separate water, fat, and solid. And here we can see that this process achieves multiple critical objectives. It sterilizes the material, making it safe. It dehydrates, significantly extending shelf life and reducing volume for transport. And most importantly, its efficient separates the valuable lipid protein friction from the non-edible or those valuable components. Design behind rendering. Design behind effective rendering lies in optimizing temperature and also pressure and time to achieve maximum separation and quality without denaturing the valuable component excessively. Modern rendering plants are marvels of engineering, designed for efficiency, environmental control, and product consistency. Once we have this separated component, particularly the protein or complex carbohydrate, we often move to the next crucial step is hydrolysis. Hydrolysis is a fundamental chemical process, literally meaning to break with water. And then where large complex molecules are broken down into smaller, simpler units by reacting with water. This transformation can be catalyzed by acid, bases, or increasingly through highly specific and efficient enzymes. For instance, in the context of protein, hydrolysis breaks them down into peptides and individual amino acids, which are more readily digestible, absorbed, and have new functional properties like enhanced, soluble, and emulsifying capabilities. So we can say here, no, we have broken the complex molecule into simpler ones. We often find ourselves with a complex mixture of these smaller components. This is where fractionation and purification. Fractionation and purification is the advanced technique to isolate a specific compound. Now, following hydrolysis or other initial processing steps, we typically have a complex mixture of compounds. Fractionation is the sophisticated science of separating this mixture into individual components or into distinct groups of compounds based on their physical or chemical properties, be it size, charge, polarity, or boiling point. Techniques range from well-established methods like distillation, filtration, centrifugation to more advanced approaches like a membrane separation, chromatography, and solvent extraction. Its method delivers specific differences between molecules to achieve a clean separation, allowing us to isolate the desired fractionation from the rest of other matrix. This is a critical transformation because it moves from generic mixture to specific enriched stream. And here also purification. When friction are obtained, purification takes center stage. This process refines the separate components, removing any remaining impurities, to achieve the desired level of purity, which can range from food grade to pharmaceutical grade, depending on the end of application. Techniques here might include crystallization, ion exchange, affinity chromatography, or further membrane filtration steps. The level of purity directly correlates with the value and application of potential of the product. A high purified compound can be used in a sensitive pharmaceutical formulation, while a less pure might be suitable for industrial additives. This stage represents a massive leap in a value transformation, as it takes bulk materials into refines them into high specific, high performance ingredients that command premium price and enable cutting edge of application. Finally, we arrive at the what I consider of the most exciting and rapidly improving area of the transformation is biotechnology and especially fermentation. It's biotechnology and fermentation, using a microorganism to create a new high-value ingredient. Biotechnology harnesses the power of living organisms or their cellular components to create desired product or process. Fermentation, a cornerstone of biotechnology, exemplifies this beautifully. It's an ancient practice where microorganisms like yeast or bacteria are utilized as tiny, efficient factories to convert substrates, often simple sugar or other biomass components derived from early process into vast array high-value products. Think beyond traditional alcohol production. Microbes can now churn out everything from complex protein, enzyme, and organic acid to pharmaceutical, advanced biofuel, and novel biomaterial. The same here involves optimizing the growth condition of this microorganism, controlling nutrient supply, temperature, pH, and oxygen level within large bioreactor to maximize yield and purity of the target compound. What makes biotechnology and fermentation so profoundly transformative is their ability to synthesize complex molecules with incredible precision and often with a significantly reduced environmental impact compared to the traditional chemical synthesis. And here, for the case study, the gelatin and collagen peptide. Here we focus on the three key pillars, the showed gelatin and collagen peptide. Let's begin at the very fundamental, the source of gelatin and collagen peptide are animal derived protein, primarily obtained from the connective tissue, bones, and hide of various animals. Historically and commercially, the dominant source of gelatin and collagen is from bovine and also from porcine industry, making their utilization a high sustainable and crucial economic practice. We are not talking about primary sector for collagen, but rather value adding to material that would otherwise be discarded, aligning perfectly with modern sustainability goals. Chicken and other poultry sources are also emerging players, offering unique amino acid profiles that some research suggests could offer distinct benefits. The choice source of its arbitrary is dictated that the type of collagen predominant in the raw material, which in turn influence the final product characteristics. Animal connective tissue are rich in type 1 collagen, which is the most abundant collagen in the human body, found in skin, bone, tendons, and also ligaments. This makes bovine and porcine hides excellent starting point. Bovine bone also type 1, along with some type 3 collagen. Marine source predominantly type 1. Conversely, collagen from chicken strenum, for instance, it suits a type 2 collagen, which is crucial for cartilage health. Understanding this distinction allows producers to select the optimal raw material for specific end product application, whether it's for skin health, joint support, or bone density. This meticulous sort ensure we are extracting the most relevant and effective building blocks for various health and wellness applications. Moving on from raw source, here collagen F.Pt and collagen peptide. It's a booming market in nutraceuticals for joint health and skin elasticity. Moving on from raw material, let's look to intergelatin. The first process from animal collagen is core-gelatin denatured protein specific. A hydrolysis of collagen, the nature part is crucial. It means a 3 helical structure. Native collagen has been broken down through controlled hot water extraction process following acid or alkaline pretreatment. This pretreatment removes non-collagen material and prepares the collagen for hydrolysis. The result of is soluble protein mixture composed a range of molecular weights, including single-strand, dimers, and trimers of collagen chains. This controller hydrolysis is what gives gelatin its most iconic properties. Its ability to form thermoreversible gels upon cooling. It's a remarkable transformation from the insoluble to structural protein of the animal to a versatile, soluble, and gelling ingredient. Gelatin also have unique properties make invisible across a vast array industries. Its gelling capability, which allows to form clear, elastic gels that melt readily at the body temperature, is central to its use. Its conventionally for gummies on jellies, in jelly product for texture and stability, and the dishes. Beyond gelling, gelatin offers excellent water binding capacity, emulsification properties, and film forming capabilities, making it valuable in pharmaceutical for creating hard and soft capsules, where it ensures drug stability and easy dissolution. And then now let's pivot to the cutting edge evolution of the collagen. Collagen peptide. While gelatin is a hydrolysis of collagen peptides a further hydrolysis form, typically achieved through more extensive enzymatic digestion. This additional process breaks down the larger protein molecule of gelatin into much shorter chain of amino acids, often called bioactive peptide. The defining characteristics of collagen peptides setting them apart from gelatin is their non-gelatin nature and cold water solubility. This is a critical distinction that completely changes their application profile. More importantly, this extensive hydrolysis significantly enhances their bioavailability. The shorter, more uniform peptide chains are more easily digested and absorbed into the bloodstream, allowing them to reach target tissues and the body more efficiently than larger collagen or gelatin molecules, where they can exert their specific physiological effects. Here is transforming chicken intestine and edible film. This is one of my research. On this side, I would like to explain about the process of production gelatin from chicken intestine and its further application as an edible film. Let's start from the left side here. The raw material used here is chicken intestine, and which is abundant of byproduct from a poultry processing, because the intestine undergoes degrading and boiling water for 30 minutes to remove excess fat, and then it's cut into the small portions around 2 and 3 centimeters. Next step is demineralization. Using 3% hydrochloric acid for 24 hours, which remove inorganic compounds and leaves the material known as octane. After that, the sample is neutralized to adjust the pH between 6 to 7, and to extract gelatin, the material is treated in a water bath at 80 degrees Celsius for about 7 hours. The resulting solution then filtered, and then the gelatin is obtained by drying in oven at 15 degrees Celsius for 48 hours. At this point, have successfully produced a chicken intestine gelatin. And from here, a chicken intestine gelatin, we transport it, make the transformation to make an edible film. Let's move to the right side of the diagram, which show how this gelatin is formulated into edible film. The process begins by dissolving the gelatin in 100 milliliter distilled water at the 50 degrees Celsius. Then 4% gelatin is stirred for 30 minutes. To improve the flexibility, glycerol added at the concentration. And here the treatment at glycerol and stirred again at the room temperature, and this mixture becomes edible film solution. The edible film solution. And the next about 25 milliliter of the solution is poured into Teflon plate and dried in oven at 50 degrees Celsius for 24 hours. The result is a thin biodegradable base edible film that can potentially be used as sustainable food packaging material. And this diagram demonstrates how an underutilized poultry byproduct can be transformed into high-value material. Not only does this process help reduce waste, but it also provides an innovative alternative to synthetic plastic, contributing to sustainability, food system, and environmental protection. And here also, we're transforming a rabbit skin into edible film. Rabbit meat also utilized in dishes like rabbit satay in Indonesia, which is popular also in many parts of the world, especially in Indonesia. However, this process leaves behind significant amount of rabbit skin. And rabbit skin here in Indonesia is still treated as a waste. Now, rather than discharging this material, our research focused on a more sustainable and innovative issues. Now, we are transforming rabbit skin into edible film. This process involves a key step, gelatin extraction. We extract gelatin from the rabbit skin and then use the gelatin as a biopolymer for create a film. This step is usually similar with the before. If you look at the bottom of the slide, you can see the result of our experiment here. There are 5 different edible film labeled T1 or treatment 1 through the treatment 4. We create them by treating rabbit skin with gelatin with varying concentration of glycerol, which acts as plasticizer. Here, and the base glycerol used for the rabbit skin is about 10%. And here the edible film fats and oil. Allow me to share with you a case study on how livestock byproducts, especially edible fat and oil, can be transformed into value-added ingredients. And here it shows render animal fats like a tail from beef and large from pork. And also you can application from this fat also used in cooking of baking and frying biofuels and industrial lubricants. And also, this edible fat and oil have a health benefit as a nutritious source of the monosaturated fatty acids, and also cost reduction provides a more affordable alternative to vegetable oil. And here the organ meal. Nah, here organ meal we are diving into fascinating, perhaps even challenging case study that push boundaries of how we perceive and utilize animal products. Our focus on organic meat and blood. Material often overcooked and discarded in modern diets, yet holding immense nutrition, income, and sustainable potential. We'll explore their inherent value and transition into some truly innovative specialty applications that are serving the future of various industries. Organ meat is also a rich and nutrient-dense source of the vitamin A and B12, iron, and essential minerals. Also, organ meat can application from traditional cuisine to advanced food stabilizer and emulsifiers. And here, another case study in Indonesia. Farm animal byproducts used in Indonesia. Here, on this slide, I would like to share a case study about how farm animal byproducts are utilized in Indonesian cuisine. This example illustrates not only culinary diversity, but also how local communities turn what could be waste into a valuable food resource. Let's begin with hide cracker. Here, the hide cracker locally called as a kerupuk kulit or rambak. These crackers are made from bovine skin. After being cleaned, boiled, and dried and fried, the skin transforms into a crunchy, savory snack. Beyond being tasty, it's also nutrient-rich, high in protein and collagen. And also, which is important during skin health, economical hide crackers affordable, sold at 20,000 to 50,000 rupiah per 250 grams. And they are widely enjoyed across in Indonesia, especially in West and Central Java. Here is a famous food dish in Indonesia, hide cracker. And also beside head cracker in Indonesian, also cungur. Cungur, a traditional Indonesian dish made from a mouth or snout of cattle. And the meat is chewy yet flavors, often stewed or seasoned with a spices until tender. Nutritionally, cungur is a good source of protein and minerals such as iron and zinc, and which are essential for energy and immunity. In terms of price, cungur dishes are usually available at 15,000 to 40,000 rupiah per serving, and making them accessible in popular and delicacy. It's particularly popular in West Java and Central Java. And also here is pagit-pagit, a very unique dish from the Karo community in North Sumatra. It uses rumen content or partially digested grass from cattle or buffalo stomach, which is cooked with coconut milk and spices. While unusual for some, this dish actually provides fiber and probiotics, making it beneficial for digestion. It is also very affordable price between 500 and 200 rupiah per serving, and reflects the cultural tradition around food use and waste minimization. And finally, we have a satay, which extremely popular is as a street food. And this dish uses various parts of such as tripe, intestine, skin, and even goat testicle. While unconventional, these ingredients are rich in protein and iron, and S.Pt is accessible way to make us of a byproduct. Price are usually 500 to 1000 rupiah per stick, making it cheap, yet nutritious option for many households. So what can we learn from this case study? First, animal byproducts should not be seen as waste, but rather as valuable ingredients. Second, this food not only support nutrition and affordability, but also carries strong cultural significance in Indonesia culinary heritage. And third, this demonstrates the potential of byproducts to contribute to more sustainable and resilient food systems, reducing waste while providing affordable protein source for society. Here the triple bottom line. If we in this slide introduce the concept of triple bottom line, which is a framework that explains the traditional definition of business success. Instead focusing only on profit, the triple bottom line emphasizes three interconnected dimensions in economic, social, and environmental. Let's begin with the economic aspect. From this perspective of livestock byproduct, the economic value comes from creating new revenue stream and lowering ingredient costs. For example, turning bovine skin into hide crackers or extracting gelatin from chicken intestine not only generates additional income but also reduce the cost of raw materials that would otherwise be lost. This helps industry remain competitive while adding value to material often overlooked. And the second dimension is the social aspect. It supports food affordability and improves food security. Here, the focus on supporting food affordability and improving food security by transforming products into edible and nutritious products. Communities gain access to affordable protein sources and alternative food options. This is especially important in developing countries where food costs are rising and vulnerable populations are at risk of malnutrition. This byproduct helps ensure that food systems are inclusive and equitable. The third dimension here is the environmental aspect. By making full use of livestock byproducts, we can significantly reduce methane emissions, decrease organic waste, and promote a circular economy instead of ending up in landfill or being improperly discarded. These materials are reintroduced into the system as a use sources. This not only lowers environmental impact but also contributes to climate change mitigation. At the intersection of these three dimensions, economic, social, and environmental, we achieve what is called true sustainability. This holistic approach shows that it is possible to generate profit, serve society, and protect the environment at the same time. And here, a strategic roadmap to implementation, which outline the key steps required to successfully transform livestock byproduct into value-added byproduct. This roadmap consists of four interconnected pillars: R&D investment, supportive regulation, industry collaboration, and customer education. The first step in investment in research and development. Continuous research is essentially for developing innovative processing technology that can efficiently and safely transform byproduct into usable ingredients. For example, advancement in enzymatic hydrolysis or sustainable extraction techniques can significantly improve yield of gelatin, collagen, or protein hydrolysis. With strong R&D, and potential of this byproduct will remain underutilized. The second step is a policy and regulation. A supportive regulatory environment ensures product safety, build trust among customers, and provide a clear guidelines for industry adoption. Governments and food authorities play a crucial role here by establishing a standard for food safety, labeling, and product certification. Good regulation helps create a level playing field and encourage companies to invest in a byproduct utilization. The third step is industry collaboration. Transforming byproduct into mainstream food and industrial ingredients requires partnership between farmers, processors, and researchers, and also private companies. Collaboration enables knowledge sharing, cost sharing, and the scaling of innovation. By working together, stakeholders can reduce risk and accelerate adoption of sustainable practice. And finally, the fourth step is a customer education. Even with advanced technology and support policies, change will not happen unless customers accept this product. Public perception must shift to recognize byproducts not as waste, but as valuable, nutritious, and sustainable resources. Education campaigns, transparent labeling, and success stories from the food industry are effective tools to build consumer confidence. And then, for the future is Singapore. As we all know, the future of agriculture is a circular instead of a linear system where resources are taken, used, and discarded. We need to embrace a model reduce, recycle, and also reuse. Circular agriculture allows us to optimize every part of the production chain, ensuring efficiency, sustainability, and affordability. The food principle is a zero-waste food system. In livestock production, it means utilizing 100% of the animal. Traditionally, many byproducts such as bone, blood, or internal organ are underutilized or even discarded. However, with right processing technology, this can convert it into valuable products such as protein hydrolysis, bioactive peptides, collagen, gelatin, and even biofertilizer. This not only minimizes waste but also creates a new economic opportunity. And then the second aspect is innovation. The livestock byproduct sector is ripe for new discoveries. Recent advances have so promising application of byproduct in nutraceutical, biomaterial, pharmaceutical, and even bioplastic. By integrating food science, biotechnology, and engineering, we can unlock hidden potential of materials once considered waste. This innovation is not only scientific but also strategic, helping us address global challenges such as resource scarcity and climate change. And finally, food affordability and sustainability. A more efficient food system is a more affordable and a sustainable one. By creating a more efficient and circular food system, we reduce production costs while maximizing output. This translates into more affordable food for customers and more sustainable system for the planet. In fact, the value derived from livestock byproducts can significantly strengthen the economic resilience of farmers, processors, and industrial alike. Transforming livestock byproducts is not just about waste management. It's about creating value, driving innovation, and supporting global food affordability. The future is indeed circular, and by embracing this approach, we can build a food system that is sustainable, innovative, and equitable for all. Here the byproduct circular economic diagram. This slide illustrates the concept of circular economics in the livestock byproduct sector. Instead of viewing byproduct as waste, this model demonstrates how they can continuously reuse, transform, and re-evolve with the food system. We begin with livestock byproduct here. This includes materials such as hide, bone, blood, intestine, and rumen content, which are often underutilized or even discarded. In a linear economy, this would be like end up as waste, creating environmental burden. But in circular economy, they are the starting point for new value creation. The second stage is processing and transformation here. Here, the byproducts are processed using appropriate technologies such as hydrolysis, extraction, and also fermentation. So this process, what was once considered waste, is transformed into useful raw material. This leads us to the third stage, value-added product. From livestock byproduct, we can produce a gelatin, and also we produce collagen and protein hydrolysis and even edible film, and also this food, another food. These products are not only functional but also cater to high demand market in food, pharmaceutical, and sustainable packaging industry. Next, we make to market and consumption. Once transformed, this product enter the market where they generate economic value. Customers benefit from affordable, nutritious, and sustainable alternatives. For instance, collagen supplements, hide crackers, or edible film can all trace their original back to livestock byproduct. Okay, that is all of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. It will be a privilege to share this. Hope you found the content valuable and so for your own professional journey. I deeply appreciate time you have invested. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Jajang, for the insightful presentation on how we may transform livestock byproducts into value-added ingredients. Next, we will open the floor for any questions from the audience. You may unmute yourself to ask the question or write down the question in the chat box. While waiting, I will read a question from Dr. Rizwan from Planetiium. Prof, you have highlighted that animal fats can reduce dependency on vegetable oils and lower costs. How does this compete with current global narratives promoting plant-based oil for health reasons? Do you want to answer the question right away, Prof, or should we collect some questions first?
Oh, please, you can collect the question.
Okay. Anyone else? Do you have any other question? If I may add a question from me, I'm interested with the edible film product that you have mentioned in the slide before this. By using the chicken intestine and rabbit skin, I'm just wondering what is the percentage yield of the edible films that is obtained from the chicken intestine and rabbit skin, and how does it compare in the cost effective? Is it more cost effective compared to the edible film or gelatin produced from the bovine or porcine sources?
Okay. Should I answer the question right now? Only two questions.
Okay, you may answer the question. Okay.
Okay. Okay. The first one, the question from to compare between the fat, fat between fat from animal or animal nabati or fat from animal and fat from okay. Okay, I will ask the second question at the first because for the first question I cannot clear I don't understand the clear question for the first question. Okay, for the second question about the edible film product that chicken intestine gelatin, and then another from the rabbit skin. If we compare the cost effective, it's here also the effective from edible film from the intestine, because in intestine in Indonesian here it's not used of course not used for the food. Sometimes the intestine in Indonesian also just throw away as waste, and I try to make the edible film or make the gelatin from intestine. This is the first, and also for the rabbit skin. Rabbit skin also here in Indonesia it's not used for anything, just throw away and discarded, and sometimes it's become pollution in the environmental. So I use it also for the gelatin, and then after make a gelatin, I also use a gelatin to uh, to 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 make the edible film. Now, edible film, if I compare between gelatin from intestine and gelatin from rabbit skin, I think it's the quality is highest from intestine rather than from rabbit skin. I try to compare the edible film from the intestines. It's better than the edible film from rabbit skin. And I try also to compare with the commercial gelatin. Commercial gelatin from the called bovine gelatin, and it's not much different. Not much different between gelatin from intestine, chicken intestine, and with bovine gelatin. But I never do that because in Indonesia there is too many gelatin from the porcine. Maybe there is my answer for the second question. And for the first question, we are exploring two conflicting paradigms on one side, using animal fats to carb cost and depends on vegetable oils. On the other, the science-driven global narrative advocating plant-based oil as the healthier alternative. Despite this race of critics, the carrying seed oil nutrition scientists of farming rejects this claim. Research shows these oils like canola and soybean lower LDL cholesterol and do not increase inflammation. However, a full understanding of requires looking beyond health. Animal fats carrying a higher larger carbon and land footprint, whereas plant oil, despite environmental threats, offer greater efficiency and global support capacity. So yes, animal fats may offer a local cost advantage or utilities in certain food scarcity context, but globally, the plant-based oil narrative remains more aligned with both public health and environmental sustainability. Maybe there is my question, Mr. Said Muhammad.
Yes, Prof. Okay, we have two more questions by Sofyan and Dr. Razita. The question by Sofyan is, I am interested to research collagen. My question is, how probability? Maybe the question is how to convert the reticulum or muscle and abomasum bovine to collagen. If I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
is this what you mean by
Okay.
okay?
Okay. 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 To convert from rumen also like this, we can convert it to collagen. To convert to collagen, maybe we have to make in several states. The first stage we have to clean the abomasum. We have to clean it, and we can soak with acid or base to remove the fat, and after that we can dissolve the collagen with acid. You can use formic acid or another like this, and then after that you can drying, and then you can collect the collagen after the drying. That is the step for make collagen. Collagen also is not soluble in water. So if you will dissolve the hydrolyze the collagen, you have to use the acid or base. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. For now, I will proceed with the second presentation first. So for the other three questions, I will postpone the question to the Q&A session and the conclusion session at the end of our webinar.
Okay.
Three.
Okay, so next we will proceed with the second topic of our webinar, which is securing our plate, sustaining our people, which will be presented by Prof. Muhammad. A brief profile introduction of the presenter. Professor Dr. Muhammad bin Ibrahim is a professor and deputy dean at the Kulliyyah of Allied Health Sciences, International Islamic University, Malaysia, Kuantan, Pahang. He earned his PhD in Nutrition Sciences, Nutritional Biochemistry from University Putra Malaysia in 2010, following a master and degree in Food Technology from University Science Malaysia. His research focuses on nutritional biochemistry, functional foods, cardiovascular nutrition, honey-based therapeutics, and antioxidant research. He has led and collaborated on projects such as Try Honey and oxidative stress in infertile men, AI-enhanced neuroimaging in Quranic memorization, and the development of high antioxidant smoothies, with more than 35 publications in index journals, including the European Journal of Nutrition, Lipids in Health and Disease, and Journal of Functional Foods. He has also supervised over 20 postgraduate students. Prof. Muhammad has been invited to speak at international conferences, received awards such as the ITEX Poster Award, and contributed to national initiatives on functional foods and public health nutrition. His academic leadership includes serving as head of department at IUM and as deputy director of the IUM Sultan Haji Ahmad Shah Mosque. Without further ado, please welcome Prof. Muhammad.
Can anybody see my slide?
Yes, Prof. Clear.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Clearly, Prof.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good morning to all. First to distinguished Prof. Jajang from Indonesia as a first speaker, and also to all distinguished participants, depending on where you are joining us from today. So, first of all, it is truly an honor to be part of this international webinar on the food security. So my presentation is titled Securing Our Plate, Sustaining Our People. Now, I would like us to begin with a very simple but profound reflections. Food is not merely about fulfilling our stomach. Food is all about health. And also not to forget, food is about culture. Food is about livelihoods, livelihoods. And most importantly, that we have to bear in mind that food is about national resilience. As we gather today, as an introduction, Malaysia has already reached a population of around 33 million people. And our demand for food is increasingly every single day. And then when we look at globally pattern, the population has surpassed about 8 billion. And yet we live in a time when food imports are rising. Climate change is threatening our yields. And our nutrition transitions is reshaping how we eat and how we live. So the questions we face is this: how do we secure our plate? And in doing so, sustaining our people, meaning that each of us are accessible to the basic needs of the food to maintain our basic health. So in this 30 minutes, 40 minutes presentations, I will share with you guys Malaysia's experience, lessons from agriculture and nutrition, and some pathways forward that I believe are relevant not only for my country, for Malaysia, but for all nations striving for resilience in food and nutrition. And before we begin into deep down, here is the roadmap of my talk for this morning. We will begin with the food security context, then move to agriculture perspective, nutrition perspective, the policy and institutional frameworks, some case studies and best practices, and not to forget, finally, I will conclude with future pathways and a call to action. As we all know, the topic on the food security is about more than a food. It's more than a food. It is about health. It is about culture. It is about national resilience. So if we look into the Malaysia's population growth, our heavily resilient on imports, and the disruptive force of climate change, it is clear that this is not a distant issue, but a very present one. So this is why food security must be at the heart of our nation and development strategy. So when we look at the Global Food Security Index of 2022, Malaysia ranked at 41st rank of the Global Food Security Index. This places Malaysia as a mid-level performer. So, but here is the challenge. We remain highly vulnerable to shocks, whether from price volatility, global conflicts, pandemics, or climate disasters. So, and that is why food security must be treated with the same seriousness as national security. Most of the time, we talk about national security, how to overcome the glitch about our nationality that can affect the sovereignty of our country. But when we talk about food security, also the same. We must treat the food security in the same seriousness as national security. And then let me illustrate our dependency first before we go into the details of the discussions. 32 to 40% of our rice still comes from Thailand and Vietnam. And then wheat is almost entirely imported from the producer countries. And not to forget also our dairy and meat imports dominate our supply. This means that if global trade is disrupted, Malaysia is at a high risk to the food security. On top of that also, this is the states or in Indonesia maybe it calls what? I'm forgot already. So in Malaysia, for example, the Kelantan state and Johor state, for example, climate change adds further pressures to these particular states. Flood, for example, in Kelantan and Johor, destroy crops. This being coupled with rising sea levels that threaten our fisheries. And also, soil fertility is declining. So these realities remind us that securing foods requires us to adapt to the changing environment. So now, let us begin with the agriculture heart of Malaysia. So the traditional rice cultivation. Rice or paddy in Malaysia is more than just a food crop for Malaysians. It is our culture heritage. And the rituals of planting, the rituals of harvesting have been passed down for generations, shaping not only our food systems, but also our way of life. Yet, despite its central role, rice farming in Malaysia has remained largely traditional and less modernized compared to the global standards. If we compare with Japan, for example, if we compare with Korea, for example, huh? So the farmers still rely heavily on on the generational knowledge and manual techniques. While this has preserved cultural identity, it has also meant that our yield remain relatively low and our productivity is limited. So, looking at this particular perspective, as a result, we continue to depend on rice imports to meet the domestic demand. So this situation calls for a delicate balance. How do we preserve the cultural richness of rice farming while at the same time we will ensure that modernization increases efficiency and productivity of the yield? If you look here, over the past decades, another agricultural reality has emerged. Malaysia has become a global powerhouse in palm oil production. Palm oil contributes around 5% of our GDP and is a significant source of export revenue. Not to doubt that. So, however, the success has come with a trade-off. As more land has been allocated for oil palm plantations, less land is available for food crops like vegetables, fruits, and cereals. This is not only merely an economic calculation, it is a food security issue. It is a real food security issue. So the central question we must ask is this: should we continue prioritizing cash crop, for example, oil palm, that generate export income, or should we rebalance our agricultural strategy to ensure we have enough land for food crops that directly feed our people? So the answer is, of course, lies in finding a strategic middle ground, which one that sustains our economy, but does not compromise our food sovereignty. Please excuse me. My pronunciation might be haywire here and there because I have 4 ulcers in my mouth now. And then, if we look into the very microscopic to the smallholder farmers, 70% of Malaysian farmers are smallholders. These farmers work small plots of land, often inherited across generations. They are the backbone of our agriculture system, but they face daunting the challenges. So many struggle with unclear land tenure, making it difficult to invest long-term improvements. Access to credit is limited, meaning they cannot afford modern technologies, fertilizers, or irrigation systems. Compounding this is the aging demographic of our farming community. Younger generation are less interested in agriculture. perceiving it as low income and labor intensive. If we want to secure our plate, we must secure the future of the smallholders farmers. Without them, our food supply would be severely threatened. So supporting them with access to finance, training, and modern tools must be a priority. Technology offers us a powerful way forward. Today, agriculture is not only about plugs and seeds. It is about drones. It is about sensors. It is about artificial intelligence, AI. So smart farming system can monitor soil moisture in real time, optimize fertilizer use, and predict pest outbreaks before they occur, in fact. Precision irrigation can save vast amounts of water while improving the yields. From time to time, research shows that with these technologies, crop yield can increase by 15 to 20%. So this modernization is not science fiction. It is already happening in pockets across Malaysia. And the challenge is scaling it up. The university, the center of study, the research center are working in a small pocket kind of thing. So the challenge is to scale it up, and importantly, involving our youth who are digital natives in leading these particular transformations. If we can make agriculture attractive to the next generation, we will breathe new life into a sector that desperately needs it. And then when we look at the sustainability practice, modernization must also work hand in hand with sustainability. Practices like agroforestry, where crops are grown alongside trees, not only improve the soil health, but also enhance the biodiversity. Crop rotations, crop regenerative farming techniques can rebuild soil fertility, and that has been degraded over time. So these practices are not just good for the environment, they are good for the farmer as well. So they increase resilience to the climate shocks, reduce the dependency on chemical inputs, and in the long run, will lower the cost of operating the practices. So sustainability is not a luxury. It is a necessity if we want agriculture to continue feeding us for generations to come. I mention again, sustainability is not a luxury one. If we are able to find a correct solutions, so it will be applicable in any setting. When we look at the agriculture, it's not only about what grows on land. And Malaysia is also one of the world's top producers of aquaculture. Fish, seafood are essential to our diets. But when we look at this particular aquaculture aspects, it is also challenges abound. Overfishing threatens marine ecosystem. Mangrove forests, which act as nurseries for fish, are being destroyed for development. Pollution from both agriculture and urban waste is now undermining coastal fisheries. This is the fact. If aquaculture is to remain a pillar of our food system, it must be managed sustainably. This means protecting mangrove, regulating catches, and addressing pollutions. These three things. Fish farming must also adopt better practices to ensure that food safety and environmental balance. Now, let move on the nutrition transitions. So let us now turn from production to consumption, which is to the nutrition. So Malaysia, like many nations, is undergoing what we call a nutrition transitions. For centuries, our diets were based on rice, fresh fish, vegetables, and tropical fruits. They were largely home cooked, balanced, and nutrient rich. But as incomes have risen, lifestyles have changed, our food habits have shifted dramatically. Fast foods, sugary drinks, processed snacks have become part of daily life. All those kinds of fancy sugary drinks outlets, for example, they are abundantly, especially in the urban sites. So the growing middle class, urbanizations, and changing work pattern also have accelerated this transition. So while convenience has improved, nutrition has declined. And this has serious consequences for health, especially for our young generation. So today, 1 in every 2 Malaysians is either overweight or obese. The prevalence of diabetes, for example, is now about 18%, among the highest rate in Asia. These are not abstract statistics. They represent millions of people living with chronic disease. A family's burden with medical costs and also a health system that now under pressure. This is what we have to realize. The irony is striking. We are importing food to fill our plates, yet much of that food contribute to diseases rather than health. This is the paradox of modern food security. Having enough to eat, but not enough nutrition to thrive. This is the modern paradox food security. We might have a good enough, having enough to eat, but not enough nutrition to thrive. And here is another paradox. In our urban centers, for example, obesity is the major challenge. Yet in rural areas, undernutrition still persists. Childhood stunting remain at 17.7%, almost 20% among the children's. And anemia is widespread among women and also children. This double burden of malnutrition, where undernutrition and overnutrition coexist in the same country, that reflects the complexity of our food system, actually. It is not just about availability. It is also about affordability. It is also about educations. It is also about equity. So this is why policies must not only address hunger perspective, but also promote balanced, nutritious diets for all segments of society. So looking at the context of food quality and safety, nutrition is not only about what we eat, but also about the safety and the quality of that particular food that we consume. So unfortunately, Malaysia has seen troubling cases of pesticide in vegetables and food adulteration scandals involving milk, chili powder, and other staples. Weak labeling practices make it difficult for consumers to make informed choices. So, food security, therefore, must encompass not only quantity but also the quality. So, people have the right to safe, uncontaminated, and accurately labeled food. So, trust in the food system is critical, and that trust must be protected. So if we look at the National Nutrition Policy 2005, for example, this particular policy focused on providing safe and high quality food across the supply chain and monitoring food markets practices. So this is the code of ethics for the infants. So when we zoom into the community nutrition program, for example, in response to several community-based program that has been launched, for example, the Rancangan Makanan Tambahan, school feeding programs from the NPA and M3 example, for example, uh, uh, a National Plan of Action for Nutrition of Malaysia, NPA&M. This school feeding program provide nutritious meals to children in needs. Supposedly, subsidized rice schemes ensure affordability for lower income family. A nationwide campaign promotes awareness of healthy eating. So these a few programs may seem small, but their impact is large. A healthy child in school today becomes a healthier, more productive adult tomorrow. So this is the investing in nutrition is investing in our future human capitals. So if you look into the our national agri-food policy and PEN 2.0, and now they are planning for the NAP 3.0. So the policy form the backbone of actions. As we all know, if there are no policy, there are no backbone of actions. So we come out with the as a backbone of the actions of our nation action. So Malaysia's National Agro-Food Policy 2.0 envisions a sustainable, resilient, and technology-driven food industry by 2030. So the policy set a clear goal. Self-sufficiency is key staples such as rice. It is also emphasizes diversifications. They are encouraging more productions of fruits, vegetable, and livestock to reduce over reliance on imports. And also not to forget, crucially, it promotes sustainable practices and modernization as guiding principles. So implementing this is the national Plan of Action for Nutrition of Malaysia Phase 3 from 2016 to 2025. They are now in the middle of preparing another plan. So this plan monitor 46 nutrition indicators, covering maternal and child health, prevention of deficiency, promoting of health lifestyle, and also reductions of non-communicable chronic diseases. So and this NPAN specific targets, including achieving inclusive breastfeeding rates of at least 50% and reducing childhood stunting to below 50% by 2025. These are ambitious target, I would say, but it is necessary if we are to reverse the tide of diet-related health issue. So with all that kind of information, we now have to come to realization that we need to collaborate. So the public-private partnership is a must. Government policy cannot succeed alone. So partnership are critical, and it is an answer for effectiveness of the policy implementation. So we are seeing agri-tech startup enabling farmers to use digital platform for marketing and supply chain management. Retailers are beginning to source directly from farmers, that ensuring fresher produce and better incomes. NGOs, for example, academia are working hand in hand with the private sector to address nutrition awareness. So such partnerships reflect a simple truth. Food security is a shared responsibility. It's a shared responsibility by the governments, by the people. It requires collaboration across all sectors of society. So if you look at the Asian and global cooperation, how far we go? So beyond the national policies, cooperation at regional, global level is vital. Asians has established food reserves and trade agreements to buffer against crises. Malaysia, for example, Malaysia's policy, for example, are explicitly linked to the Sustainable Development Goal, particularly goal number 2, with a zero hunger, and goal number 3, which is good health and well-being. So food security is not a challenge that any country can solve alone. We are all interconnected through trade, through climate change, and also health as a global. For example, COVID-19, for example, it can spread all over the world. And then collective actions is therefore essentials. And then if you look at the small layer of farmer cooperative, as is inspiring examples at the local level come from Kedah, for example, where farmer cooperative under the MADA scheme have strengthened the smallholders by pooling resources and negotiating collectively. Farmers can access better prices, share machinery, and reduce the risk. So this model shows how cooperation can turn weakness into the strength. Let's look about the another angles of agriculture, which is urban agriculture. So in our societies, urban farming is gaining ground now. Rooftop gardens, vertical farms in Kuala Lumpur and Penang, for example, are producing vegetables close to consumers. These initiatives reduce transportation costs, cut the carbon footprints. And not to forget also, it will enhance resilience in times of supply disruptions. So that urban agriculture may not replace the rural farming, but it adds an important layer of security to the food systems. So that's why NAP 2.0, urban farming and vertical farming are part of smart and high value farming, or I call it is KEGA 13, which prioritize IoT, drones and automation and precision farming. And then another thing that we can consider is the biofortification, biofortified crops. Science is also playing a very important role in biofortification models. So biofortification is the developments of crops enriched with essential nutrients is being tested in Malaysia. For example, vitamin A-rich rice and iron-rich sweet potatoes are examples. So these innovations aims to tackle micronutrient deficiencies, not by the supplementation, but through the food that people eat every day. This is nutritious, sensitive agriculture in action, what we call it. Nutrition sensitive agriculture in actions. So this is must be shared with the people. So not to forget about the food waste reduction initiatives. So another pressing issues in many countries is the food waste. So every day, large amounts of edible food are discarded. In Malaysia, for example, especially during the Ramadan months also, people are like preparing to 50 million kind of populations, but we only have 33 millions. So NGOs like the Lost Food Project are the stepping in the rescue surplus food from supermarkets and distribute it to those in needs. A community fridge, for example, in urban area, also help reduce waste while feeding vulnerable group. By adding, by we addressing the waste, we can simultaneously improve food availability and protect the environment. And then perhaps the most critical piece of the future puzzle is our youth. So agriculture has long been seen as unattractive to younger generation. But that narrative must change now. So today, young entrepreneurs, for example, are entering agriculture with fresh ideas. They are creating agri-tech startups using drones, data analytics, and e-commerce platforms. So they are showing that farming can be innovative, profitable, and also impactful. If we empower youth with the right initiative, with the right support, they can transform the future of our food systems. And then, if you look at this climate smart agriculture, so the climate change is the greatest challenge of our time. So, but agriculture can adapt through climate smart practices. This includes using climate resilient seeds that can withstand floods, withstand droughts, adopting precision irrigation systems that can conserve water, and promoting agroecological method that reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So the climate smart agriculture is not an option now. It is essential if we want to feed our people under changing environmental conditions. It is a must. And not to forget to strengthening the local food systems. So the local food system are the foundations of resilience. The more we connect consumers to local producers, the less dependent we are on fragile global supply chains. So movement like farm to table encourage people to buy directly from farmers, reducing middlemen, ensuring fairer prices, and also strengthening the community ties. So strengthening local system also build trust. Consumers know where their food comes from, and they also know how it was produced. So it will reduce the dependency on the imports. So approaching to the end of my presentations, how we integrate the nutrition into agriculture. So agriculture must not only aim to produce more food, but must aim to produce better food. This farming strategies with the dietary needs. For example, diversifying crops to include more fruits, vegetables, and legumes can directly support healthier diets. And policies should ensure that agriculture is not just about feeding people, but about nourishing them. This integration is the bridge between food security and also nutrition security. So if we look at the NPAN's trees, enabling strategy 5, sustaining food system to promote healthy diets. And my closing thought is that if we return to where we should return to where we began. To secure our plate is to secure our nation's future. And the journey forward requires us to invest in sustainable agriculture, to prioritize the nutrition, and to empower the farmers and youth who hold the keys to our future. So food security is not merely an economic issue. It is a matter of dignity. It is a matter of health. It is a matter of sovereignty. If we work together across communities, across sectors, across nations, we can indeed secure our plate, and by doing so, we can sustain our people. This is my closing remark for today. Thank you very much for listening. And thank you very much also, Prof. Jajang, on your valuable inputs. I do hope that we can work together in prioritizing nutritious food that we prepare to our community, to our nations, so that we can come up with a better youth leaders that having the optimum health condition to lead the nation, insyaAllah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof. Muhammad, for the great insight on the issue of sustainable food security. Next, we will open the floor for any questions from the audience. You may unmute yourself to ask the question or write down the question in the chat box. Anyone with question?
I think no question because all already exhausted.
If no question, then I have one question. Regarding the double burden of malnutrition, the urban obesity and rural stunting, uh, in your opinion, is there any policy or intervention that can simultaneously tackle this overnutrition in cities and undernutrition in rural communities, while also ensuring sustainable food system?
So, in my opinion, again, when we talk about the overeating or the terminology of overnutrition also is not the for me lah, it's not the correct word, but it has been used lah. Uh, Basically, if a good if we refer to the nutrition policy that has been implemented, that has been implemented. Actually, in Malaysia, we have NPAMS, we have the TWG group, Technical Working Group under Ministry of Health. There are lots of technical working group working on the food composition database. There are a lot of there are a lot of people out there working on the NCDs. All this kind of technical working group must be coordinated well, and then must be critically analyzed the demographic feature that contributed to the malnutrition and overnutrition of certain places in Malaysia. But again, how perfect the policy is, if the policy cannot be implemented 100% in the to the subject matters, to the people that are prone to have under and malnutrition, so it not will be the successful for the action plans. So again, the understandings at the national levels, at the implementers, at the ministries, and also the people who are gonna to get the benefit from the policy must work hand in hand to make sure that we are in a similar line of actions. So now we are not having the policy of the, for example, nutraceutical and functional food that are being produced. And then also we don't have the policies, not enough campaign, I think, about the sugary drinks, for example, that must be in the policy. Even though we have the policy, but again, the youngsters nowadays, they are tend to have the kind of the what we call it as a fancy kind of shops, fancy kind of food outlets, and then this kind of fancy of food outlets will contribute to the over consumption of certain macro and micronutrient that are not supposed to be consumed at the certain kind of point.
Okay, thank you, Prof. There are two more questions in the chat box. I will read the question. First one from Dr. Usila. May I know how AI can help with food security?
So, that one, for example, there are lots of the samples that has been done in Malaysia. In fact, in Selangor, in fact, the use of drones, for example, uh, to fertilize what we call it? No. For example, the use of, as I mentioned, the use of AI to predict the weather, to forecast the weather. So the farmers, if they are truly embrace of the AI, for example, they can forecast the situation that going to affect their crops yield, for example. Even though we are all know in Malaysia, for example, during the monsoon season, for example, for Kedah, for Johor, for Kelantan, it is almost the same as compared to the rest of the states of the Malaysia, because Kelantan, Johor, Kedah is the states that are producing the paddy and rice. So they can use AI, for example, to forecast their process in planting the crops, and also they can use AI also to predict the cell the nutrient in soil. There are lots of model that has been shown by the so-called developed countries like Japan, for example. I'm quite impressed when I went to the Toyama University. This is in Japan, whereby they use the AI, artificial intelligence devices, for example, to make sure to water their vegetables and their crops uh, at a perfect time and then perfect volume. With use of AI technology, or the machine learning technology. So that's it, I think.
There are another two questions, but I think I can combine this question. It is regarding food waste. The first question is there any specific program from the Malaysian government to address the food waste program that can be adopted in Indonesia? And the second question is it is very hard to change our community mindset when it comes to food waste. So do you have any advice or strategies that actually work to change these food wasting habits?
So, for example, in Malaysia, there are a lot of study that's been conducted. For example, we are conducting the food waste study at the Ministry of Health facilities, which involve the dietetics and department, for example, at the Ministry of Health settings. The study is called the plate waste study. So if you look at the plate waste study, for example, the study shows that it is not because of the waste being done by the preparers of the food. It is more on the patients. So sometimes patient have different mind settings when they are in the clinical setting. For example, they prefer to eat whatever the outside food that compared to the food that we prepare in the clinic, in the hospital, for example. This is contribute to the food waste in the clinical setting, and also in the industrial setting, for example, the restaurants, the hotel, for example, they are offering, for example, buffet kind of thing during the Ramadan, and then this is will actually we must educate lah. We must educate our people to eat prudently. not only we spend prudently, but we have to eat prudently as well. So we have to eat. The basis can be referred to our new MDG guideline, Malaysian Dietary Guideline. We launched the Malaysian Dietary Guideline, but how we going to deliver this Malaysian Dietary Guideline to the people? So that's why in Malaysia, the awareness campaign, the talk. For example, we have the yearly program about Nutrition Month. So in this particular month, we as a nutritionist and a dietitians will go to the schools, we go to the government sectors, go to the private offices to talk about healthy diet. To use our MDG guideline, Malaysian Dietary Guideline, also to use our suku-suku separuh, pinggan suku-suku separuh, and also healthy physical activity pyramid. Not only our Malaysian food pyramid, also the physical activity pyramid, so that everybody can understand and also can do the correct or prudent intake to have a better health outcome, inshallah. So this is my comment lah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can you have one last question, Prof?
Okay.
Okay. In your opinion, how can Islamic teachings guide us in securing our plate and sustaining our people through responsible and sustainable use of food resources? Question by Dr. Rizwan.
So this is a very good question, actually. So that's why from Islamic point of view, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala mentioned to us, Kulu washrabu wala tusrifu. You can eat, you can drink, you must eat, you must drink, you may eat, you may drink, wala tusrifu, but not exceed. So many people talk about the patterns of eating. Many people talk about patterns of exercises, patterns of physical activity. But again, the correct people should come forward, like nutritionists, like public health people, like the dietitians, like the medical practitioners, like nurses. They have to embrace the similar understanding, like the nutritionists, and then also the dietitians understand how to help the government, help the policy to reach to the community. In our MDG, and also suku-suku separuh, and also the food pyramid, and also our physical activity pyramid is almost there, about 40 years. But how many of us are being enlightened of this particular guidelines, this particular initiative? So that to answer the questions is, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala already mentions in the Quran, you can eat, you can drink, but do not exceed. So how much is much? When we talk about do not exceed, how low is low? How much is much? So we come up with the MDG guidelines. We come up with the food pyramid. Food pyramid, we have the pyramid. So every countries, I think they have their own food pyramid that we offer to the community, to the toward a simple understanding lah, actually. Food pyramid is not and complicated. It can be understood lah. So again, the instructions to eat, brings, and not exceeds is from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. If we are really concerned about health, and we embrace the Quranic verses that allow us to eat, drink, and not exceed. So we have to do a better, much jobs than previous one to make sure that people understand very well. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. So again, I would like to thank both presenters for your informative and interesting sharing. I hope everyone have obtained valuable information and better insight on food security and nature ecosystem in accordance to sustainable well-being. A brief reminder to all audience, to our IUM members, your attendance will be recorded to I-attend, whereas for the public audience, your attendance for e-certificate will be recorded to filling in the evaluation form that has been given just now. Okay, now we are moving to the third and final session, the additional Q&A and conclusion for our webinar by both speakers. Firstly, I will invite Prof. Jajang to answer a few questions from the audience and finally give his takeaway message and conclusion for our webinar today. So I will read the first question in the chat box by Dr. Razita Sham. Dear Prof. Jajang, is your project now implemented on the ground, and where do you collect the byproduct?
Okay, thank you very much. I will answer the first question from the Dr. Tasman. Okay, my research is still at a laboratory scale and has now evolved from edible film to smart edible film. And this research combines gelatin with various plant pigments such as purple sweet potato, butterfly seed flowers, and turmeric to identify the change in richness of the packaged food. So my research is still in laboratory scale. This is for Dr. Rajistaman, and then the second question.
Okay, the second question from Dr. Alia. I would like to ask your opinion on how consumers usually perceive food products from livestock byproducts. Are they more accepting or hesitant? Secondly, what is your strategy to encourage consumers to accept food products made from livestock byproducts?
Okay. Also, yes, for most customers, today are still hesitant toward a food product made from livestock byproducts, but that resistance is not fixed with a science-based approach that combines education, reformulation, and sustainability messaging. And the culinary leadership, we can shape a perception and normalize this product as nutritious, ethical, and even desirable. And also, it depends on the customer culture also. In Indonesia, accustomed to consuming food made from byproducts. Almost all part of byproducts can process in food, except hair, feather, and animal waste also, and blood for Muslims. However, for non-Muslim, livestock blood also used as food, such as in the Karo region of North Sumatra, where it is processed into chili sauce pork dishes. Also, in Indonesia, cow and buffalo hide crackers have even become a popular food in Indonesia. The raw hides are even imported from Malaysia because in Indonesia, a shortage of raw cow and buffalo hides in Indonesia. And then the strategies to encourage the customer to consume byproducts include creating edible byproduct with a good nutritional value such as liver, heart, and gizzard, and creating food that taste good and are appealing to it. And also advertising that product also provide a good nutrition for a customer. And maybe you can extracting the active ingredients in byproduct into food with health benefits such as collagen powder, protein, or etc. Maybe that is for the second question.
Okay, so next, the third question from Dr. Wan Azri. It is almost similar to the previous question. Are there successful case studies in Indonesia where livestock byproducts have been commercialized into food ingredients? And how is the acceptability among the people?
Yeah. As I have said before, that in Indonesia, uh, almost all the byproducts from the livestock can be produced to food. Except the hair. There is if you see in Indonesian maybe in Indonesian electronic maybe you can see that in Indonesia there is many animal byproduct commercialization, and then this is like soto babat, semur witong, and the popular steak bastio, and the food celebrate not fun, and then illustrates that when cultural familiarity and culinary tradition insect by product become a beloved mainstay and bears not with hesitation. Many product in Indonesia derived from the byproduct the things to food in Indonesia. Thank you.
Is it more like
The most popular in Indonesia is cow and buffalo cracker. Cow and buffalo cracker is most popular. This is from the byproduct.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
I believe there is one last question. Is there a method to extract collagen from chicken feet? And is the extracted collagen stable and safe for human consumption? Also, is it feasible to commercialize it?
Yes, there was established a method extracted collagen from chicken feet. If the most common process involves using a combination acid, alkaline, or enzymatic treatment to break down the connective tissue and isolate to the collagen. And then the extracted collagen can be made stable and considered safe for human consumption, provided it's processed under hygienic conditions. And then proper cleaning and processing are crucial to eliminate any potential contaminants, and the resulting product can be used in various food, cosmetic, and pharmaceutical applications. Regarding commercialization, it is a highly feasibility. Chicken feet are low cost, abundant by products of the poultry industry, and making them an economically attractive source for collagen production. And this valorization of waste not only creates a new avenue stream for the industry, but also contributes to the sustainability goals by reducing food waste. There is for the question.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Next, I would like to invite Prof. Jajang to give his takeaway message and to conclude to give the conclusion for our webinar today.
Okay, this is I say thank you to all of the audience here and also to the International Islamic University Malaysia. And as we discussed, utilizing livestock byproduct is a practical, scalable solution to enhance food affordability. It's about smart resource management. I use you to look at the byproducts not as waste, but as valuable raw material. This approach can create new industries, new jobs, and crucially, new access to nutrients and food. Let's make it this already. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Prof. Next, I will invite Prof. Muhammad to give his takeaway message and conclusion for our webinar today.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, the site, and then also thank you very much, Prof. Jajang, on your insightful and valuable ideas and sharings. I do learn a lot from your presentations. As far as Malaysia are concerned, the double burdens that I have been mentioned to during my presentation is a real double burdens of nutrition. Actually, undernutrition and overnutrition is coexist in Malaysia. So it reflects the something that has we as Malaysian should ponder about. I think Indonesia also having a similar problems. I think this double burden. It is because of the complexity of our food system, because we share a similar kind of. Uh, Kind of food that we are inherited from our ancestors. So when we talk about the burdens of the undernutrition and overnutrition from the agriculture perspective, in my opinions, the ministries in Malaysia, for example, Ministry of Agriculture, apa, the new terminology, Ministry of Agriculture in Malaysia must work hand in hand with the Ministry of Health in Malaysia to overcome these particular two problems, to come up with the policies that not only address the hunger but also promote the balanced nutritious diet for all the segments of society in Malaysia, whether it is urban society, rural society, suburban, or also not to forget our indigenous population. We have our indigenous population that are far from the minimum nutrition needs, what we call it orang asli, for example. They have been presented with all those kind of food, fancy food that are not. I'm not against the food stalls that are selling and the not the unhealthy 100%. It is how how much you consume that particular drinks, foods. But again, it is far from the expectation to make sure that our community embrace the good practices to make sure that we are having a good health condition, and also will reduce the burdens of the country towards fundings the Ministry of Health in overcome all the non-communicable chronic diseases, especially food-related diseases and others. So this is my take-home message for everybody. We stay informative, we stay in a good practice, then we will ensure that we are becoming a strong and also healthy nation, inshallah, in the future. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Again, thank you so much, Prof. Jajang and Prof. Muhammad, for your presentation today. It was a pleasure to have you with us. Before we end, I would like to remind all audience to fill in the evaluation form, and for IM members to record your attendance in the I attend link. So this concludes the webinar. Thank you all for attending, and we hope you have learned and enjoyed the webinar. Till we meet again in the upcoming webinar organized by Planetiium. Stay safe and healthy. Let's end our session with Tasbih Kafarah and Surah Al-Asr. Subhanakallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad. And then Said Muhammad.
Do we have a photo session? I think we should take a photo as a
Technical. Actually, we have a photo session earlier, but technical team, can we have another photo session now?
Now we have many participants now.
I can.
Okay.
Can.
To our audience, please open your camera again. Technical team, you can count. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, my 3, 2, 1. Okay, done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.